Ciao a tutti, I'm your host Rossella and welcome to Cooking with Nonna. And today we have
Carmen, Nonna Carmen.
And why don't you tell everybody where you're from?
I'm coming from Milano, Lombardia.
So why don't we take a minute and learn a little bit more about Nonna Carmen?
Well, I grew up in Italy, Milano, Lombardia, and I grew up during the war. But I grew up with my parents. I'm the oldest child and I have another sister. That's it. No more kids. I was 10 years old when I started to cook by myself. I want to surprise my parents, and I made the minestrone. What minestrone means is a kind of soup, but you put whole kind of vegetable, and then you can put a special kind of beans where it's hard to find it over here. They're fresh. So I made a good minestrone. So my parents, when they came home, they were surprised. I like to cook everything, but what I love to cook is, of course, beef from Milan is polenta. And it's a lot of way to make polenta. So I did my invention. I'm making polenta pizza. It is delicious. I like to cook. First I like to eat, and then it's my passion. I have passion to cook. My mind, when I'm sitting, even looking for something, my mind is working, and I'm thinking about the kitchen. I say, oh, I'm going over there and I'm doing this, this, and this, whatever I have in the refrigerator, and come out a nice meal. But I love to cook. That's my passion.
So what are we going to make today?
Risotto alla Milanese.
Risotto alla Milanese, otherwise known as risotto con lo zafferano, and that is saffron. And saffron is really special because it is the most expensive spice in the world. It takes about 75,000 flowers to just produce about a pound of saffron. So I want to get started right away. And what's the first thing we're going to do?
Now, first you got to put the butter. You got to warm it up the pan and put the butter.
So we have a half a stick of butter, and we have it cut into two pieces just so it melts a little better. And we're going to throw that in here.
Okay, can I have the spoon?
So we're going to do that. Okay, so while Nonna takes care of our butter, I'm going to chop about a half a medium onion. And Nonna taught me a really cute trick to get a fine mince going. And what you're going to do, I made one horizontal incision, and I'm going to make another one. Watch your hands. And now I'm going to go into it vertically and make these little cuts. And this just makes it a lot easier when you run your knife through it like this. Now, why is it important to mince our onions so fine?
Because if you don't mince the onion in that way, you got big chunk. When you eat the risotto, you got a lot of pieces of onion in your mouth, and that is not good. So when you do it in that way, so it's almost melting. You don't even see it, the onion in the rice. That's why we mince it.
So, and that looks great. And we are ready to add
the onion.
Our onions to our butter. Now we're using a butter base today because in Lombardia there's an abundance of butter and there's not a lot of olive oil. It's there, but it's just not used very frequently.
No, depend. Some food, risotto, you can make risotto with oil.
So when do you know the onions are done?
When the onion will be done, when they are translucent. Not, they don't have to be brown or gold, but just translucent. So you can see, the onion is nice and shiny.
And
then
it's soft.
Yes. And then when it's ready to go on with the risotto.
So what are we going to do next?
Now you add the rice.
Now we're using riso arborio rice today. And if you can see, they're a little bit different than regular white rice Arborio rice is special because it's a little bit fluffier, and when we throw our broth in, it's going to absorb the broth and become a bigger kernel. It also releases a certain amount of starch, a little bit more than white rice, so that adds to the thickening of our risotto.
The creamy.
Because risotto, it can't be watery.
No. You can be soupy because otherwise it's rice with broth.
So what are we going to do next?
Now you put the wine.
Now we're going to put the wine. Now, I talked about our rice absorbing liquid, and that goes the same for the wine we're using.
You put a little bit higher.
So we have about a cup of white wine in there. And how do you know when alcohol is really all
gone.
cooked out?
That you will know from the smell. If you do it like this, you can smell the alcohol from, say, you make the vapor come to you, and you smell the alcohol. And then it's getting a little bit drier. That means all the alcohol is gone, and then you start another way.
So when you can't smell it anymore, that's when you know you're ready to start putting your broth in.
Correct. Yes. Okay. Now this is ready. See?
Okay.
You don't have any
So
more.
we're
Now
ready
the
to
broth.
start adding our broth, and I'm going to take over. So we have a pot of just plain chicken broth going, and you want to keep this hot while you're cooking it. You don't want to have it get too cold. And I'm going to add about 2 or 3 ladles at a time until it is too dry.
Now it's time for zafferano.
And right after your first ladle of broth, you add the zafferano, the saffron. And we're using strands of zafferano. We're not using the powdered one. This actually gives so much more color, so much more flavor. Okay. So why are we using rice at all? I mean, in the north, do you have to use rice? Do you use more rice than pasta?
Well, we use a lot of rice because we have a land where it's called Risaie, and they grow rice. So we have a lot of rice. But we eat pasta also. But people, from north, they are very famous to eat rice. Risotto. Oh, you're from Milan. Risotto alla Milanese.
So do you have to use rice when you make this? Can you make this with pasta at all?
Yes, you can make it with pasta. It's called pasta risotto. It's a very, very small kind type of spaghetti. A little bit thicker than spaghetti. They're like this.
Now, if I had to time my risotto, I would say this is about a 20-minute process. Now, Nonna, I have a lot of broth here, so I can go on forever. I'm just wondering when exactly you know it's time to stop.
Well, you can see the rice. The rice, you can see, is white. Inside is all white. When you start the rice, the grain of the rice start to get clear, almost transparent all around, just a little bit white in the middle. Then when you know it's ready.
So, what's next, Nonna? We're almost done.
Next, we got to mantecare. We have to mantecare. And mantecare means you got to put butter and Parmesan cheese.
So hand me some
That
more
make
butter.
very creamy.
Very creamy indeed. So we're adding about another half a stick of butter. And you want to use butter that's been softened or room temperature. And just stir it in quickly so the heat just melts it really nicely. Now our butter is gone, nowhere to be found. And
Now you put this,
now
Parmigiano.
So how much Parmigiano do you add to a mantecare?
At least 3 tablespoons.
Well, okay. If you say so. Ah, great. And stir some more. And you're going to see those great strings of cheese as the Parmigiano melts. So this looks done.
Yeah,
right?
risotto is
All
done.
finished?
Now it's
We can eat it now.
you can serve it and eat it.
Okay. So we're going to turn off our heat. And we're going to do this ever so quickly because, like I said, risotto's got to go from, pan to plate to mouth all within 3 minutes. Very complicated, but I think we can do it. See those strings start to drip down?
It come out perfect.
Okay.
Add the cheese.
But of course, you can never have enough cheese, so just a little sprinkle on the top. And we gotta make everything pretty. And we just put a little. I'm so excited. So let's
Thank
just
you.
taste what we've made. I worked a lot for this. Oh my God.
Come out perfect.
That is
Delicious.
so rich and creamy and cheesy all at the same time. It's delicious. Thank you for
Buonissimo.
teaching me how to make this.
Grazie e grazie per avermi invitato a cucinare.
Ciao.
Ciao.
So it's really special and it's really something unique to add to our dish. And I'm so excited that we're using it. So let's get started. And what are we going to do first?
Now you start with the butter.
Butter. Everything's better with butter.
Now it's better cut the butter in pieces so it melts faster. Just one stick.
Right. So we're going to use 1 stick of butter and we're going to cut it in half because half we're going to use in our pan to start cooking. And the other half is going to go in our
For the mantecare.
For mantecare, which is a mixture of butter and Parmigiano cheese. So let's get our butter in the pan, half a stick.
So.
And that's going to start melting. So let's turn on our heat. Nothing. Okay. So I'm going to let you... No fork, no fork.
No fork.
No fork.
Gotta use it.
Yeah.
So it's better cut it. The butter so it's, can you cut it in pieces?
Well, you could start breaking it up. You do.
No, it melts faster.
Well, you could break it with the... Can you?
Not yet. No.
Alright, let's
Okay. So while you do that, I'm going to start chopping our onions.
The onion. Onions to be chopped.
Now, Nonna Carmen taught me a very special trick to chop our onion quickly. Every nonna has a secret way of doing things, so this is what makes our show so exciting. And I'm just making 2 slices inside the onion, and then I'm going to go through it and make little slices like that. Watch your fingers. And now it's going to be really, really easy for me to mince it up. So when do you make this risotto alla Milanese? Is it something you make all year round?
Oh, you can make it all year around. You know, it's not a special day for risotto alla Milanese.
Every day is a special day for risotto
Exactly.
alla Milanese.
Because it's delicious, it's creamy, the taste is very good. So everybody, no matter if I make it, everybody enjoy it.
I always go back to the concept of Italian comfort food. And in America, maybe you'd eat a big bowl of macaroni and cheese, but wouldn't you rather have a big bowl of risotto alla Milanese?
Yes.
With a lot of Parmesan and butter and...
È migliore, it's much better risotto alla milanese than macaroni and cheese. Tell the truth. Yes, more tasty. You're gonna make a lot of cheese, but this one,
We don't have the...
forse perché sta bruciando qua.
Okay. Sorry. Heat. All right, più basso.
Yeah,
Oh, the butter.
put it in.
Is it burned?
Ora, it's started, put it in. Okay.
Okay. We're gonna add our chopped onions. I'm sorry, I don't...
When translucent,
This is
doesn't matter, it's
bad.
good. No,
What's made, please?